Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here and welcome back to another crypto video. And today, I have another special video for you guys as we're going to be talking about Algorand. Algorand has been one of my top cryptos for a little while, and one of the main reasons is that I think it is pretty undervalued. Now today, that really doesn't seem like the case as the price is up about 15%. But today, I want to kind of introduce you guys to the project, let you guys know what is up with it, what I'm thinking about it, and of course, what I'm thinking in regards to the price. Having said that, just a quick introduction to the markets right now. S&P, Nasdaq are both doing really good. We have seen some new all-time highs on the Dow. Everybody is talking about this right now, and so generally speaking, the markets are quite bullish. Crypto is not necessarily reflecting that, and that does really make me quite interested in Algorand as to why it's up about 15% or even 18% earlier. I mean, if we look at Bitcoin, it is up to about 48,000 from about 46 point something earlier. And if we take a look at the charts, yes, we had a bounce exactly where we predicted it at the 0.236 Fibonacci at about 46.5K. But yet, 20% on Algorand, that really doesn't make a lot of sense. So, long story short, what is Algorand? Well, we always check CoinMarketCap, so let's check it out real quick. Algorand is a self-sustaining, decentralized blockchain-based network that supports a wide range of applications. These systems are secure, scalable, and efficient, and all critical properties for effective application in the real world are on there. Algorand will support computations that require reliable performance guarantees to create new forms of trust. And the Algorand mainnet will become live, or actually already became live in June of 2019, and was able to handle almost 1 million transactions per day as of December 2020. Algorand transaction metrics can be viewed right here if you want to, and Algorand initial coin offering was held in June 2019 with a price of $2.40 per token, right now it being at around $1.72. Not exactly sure what happened right there, not even sure if this is the truth, because it seems kind of strange, right? But that's actually a little funner story about the entire Algorand price, in the sense that there's a lot of vague things about how the price has performed, if you ask me. In the sense that it's not really coinciding exactly with the crypto market, it's not really going one-to-one. And today we're seeing another example of that, in the sense that Algorand just doesn't really follow the same path. Then again, why am I so excited? Honestly, because I think it's undervalued. We've seen a pretty high starting price for Algo. We've seen it again start at really pretty high prices all the way back then. We've seen it on a really big decline throughout the last couple of months and right now came back up. But generally speaking here, it really hasn't gone into exploration mode in terms of price since it started. Yet again, if we look at the real numbers, Algorand is in that top 20 and has been for a really long time. It does make you wonder, why is it so high up in the rankings, yet again, kind of similar to XRP, not really going to price discovery mode for years, or in this case here, since the inception. So here was an article a little while ago. Here's why Algorand is today's biggest decliner among the top 25 crypto. And after doing some research all around the internet, I saw a lot of people talk that it's because there's competitors like Solana and actually almost every other crypto out there that does this platform type of, I guess, crypto, like Ethereum, Luna, Binance Smart Chain, and everything like that. Almost every single project out there is doing better in, for example, TVL. And I went on to Reddit to kind of look up exactly why this would be the case, like what is going on with that. Here, for example, they say, I feel like Algorand is super slept on within the community. Even though it appears to have great potential, it's looking like one of the best blockchain technologies out there. It's incredibly easy to stake with an 8% APY, and it can already handle like 1,000 TPS with very low fees. They seem to have an incredible team as well. Any ideas on why it really isn't talked about that much? Once more, not being talked about that much and undervalued kind of come on the same end. Maybe there's something big downsides that I'm not seeing, but I'm not shilling the coin, so I'd love to hear multiple perspectives, bullish or bearish. When you check out this little subreddit, the majority of people are bullish. But again, guys, we don't want to bias ourselves. We want to know why. The majority of people say, I hold Algo and I believe it's a real project. They slowly release coins into circulation, which I can confirm. I went to check out really quickly through their governance document here on how they've decided to do this. And as of this point, there's only quite a small amount of Algo tokens that have been released into the supply. And if you look down further, consistent with the reduced rate of supply distribution implemented in 2020, though a reduction of the rate of participation rewards and early backer relay note rewards, we have extended the distribution of the fixed and immutable total supply of 10 billion Algo from 4 years to 10 years from now, ending in 2030 rather than in 2024 as initially planned. Basically, throughout this whole journey, you'll notice they're doing things really slowly. They don't want to inflate their coin too much. They don't want to make it basically worthless too quickly. I think this is a really smart move, and that's also showing the longer term potential and the longer term vision that those guys have. And that brings me back to the team, which they have. I've been reading up, and the majority of people that give feedback are really excited about the Algorand team and the way in which they've distributed the coins and whatnot. Guys, I'm already seeing quite a lot of good stuff throughout this little journey of me just doing some research around. But there's another one. Why is Algorand's total value locked not as high as Avalanche or Solana? Again, look back at the real numbers, guys. Look back at the real numbers. And by the way, if you are enjoying these sorts of videos, I've done hours of just digging into every single Algorand article that I could find. Hours and hours and hours of me just digging everywhere for what different people might say about Algorand. I've done my fair share of research today. If you appreciate that type of stuff, guys, make sure you press that like button and, of course, subscribe for more of these updates, as I'm trying to increase the quality of the videos that I make here. Instead of just making it more entertaining, I also want to make it more qualitative, so I'm trying my best. All right? In the sense that if we look throughout this list here on DeFi Llama, there's a couple of mishaps or, I guess, holes in my story, in the sense that we can look throughout this journey and see, okay, Algorand really doesn't cut close to the top. At the top, it's 35th spot with a relatively low total value locked. It is a little bit biased in the sense that if you look through here, they ask, what can be done to improve Algorand's TVL? Why is it so low? First of all, it's pretty new, but I believe Algorand has been one of the best in terms of tech and one of the best teams in business, which again is a really recurring subject. But the price and market cap is low in comparison to some of his competitors like Avalanche and Solana. Now, also, this is not completely true. This was posted about a week ago, but if you would kind of look with me on this one, Algorand is number 19. Solana and Avalanche are in the top 15, okay, but Avalanche number 11, Solana as of this point number 5. It is higher, yeah, but is it really that significant? That's definitely to be determined for yourself. I mean, Solana is 5 times as big, having a $50 billion market cap instead of 10, and Avalanche is about 2.5 times as big, but I'm going to say that if we look at the TVL on its own, it's not that crazy of a difference. It's not like Algorand right now is like a number 500 coin. I believe Algorand's tokenomics is also better than our competitors after the end of the accelerated vesting. And could low TVL be the main reason for Algorand's low price? Question mark. Of course, went to read on. So one of the guys says, if you're looking at the DeFi Llama website, one significant reason is that most things are not listed yet. Even governance, the biggest DAO on any blockchain ever, which is locked in billions of dollars of value, isn't listed. And that's actually where things get difficult, rather, because as I've been reading here throughout the freaking internet, one thing I've noticed is that Algorand is building quite significantly, but the majority of things are not showing just quite yet. And when you look through articles, what a lot of these guys are saying is Algorand is doing nice, doing that. You see mostly plans. I think I kind of can compare it to Cardano in a certain degree, where even if we look for Cardano throughout this list here, right? Let's quickly check this out. Cardano throughout this list, Cardano throughout this list, Cardano throughout this list. Not even sure if it's going to be there. It's not even within this list. Why? Well, first of all, because Cardano is relatively new to all of this. And second of all, it just isn't there. It's going to be coming, yes, but it just isn't there as they have plans to build. They're planning things out and they're going to be building. Here was an article 6 hours ago talking about how Algorand and Near's rally are rallying basically as DeFi activity is increasing. DeFi on its own is of course getting better. Layer 1s are getting more important instead of layer 2s that were really doing pretty well over the last little while. One reason why layer 2s might really also go into a small little decline, I don't want to hint about it too much, but that's because of a couple of articles that I also have open for you guys for later. Polygon, for example, admits the network was hacked. Of course, being a layer 2, layer 1s might get a little bit more reliability from some guys. There's way more issues with layer 2s, but I digress. I want to say layer 1s had a really big rally here, or at least are doing rather nicely over the last couple of weeks here, as we're seeing that time and time again. As people are trying to diversify into different protocols altogether, people are noticing the gas issues with Ethereum, and people just generally speaking don't want to put all their trust in the most established, I guess, TVL competitors already. As once more, we know what they can do, we understand where they are, and there really isn't as much growth and as much real amazement potential. Where with Algorand, I believe, because it's number 19 in the rankings, with such a low amount of, I don't want to call it activity either, because there is quite a lot of activity, it's just not established in a TVL number in the way that they like to quantify it here over on DeFi Llama. For example, one thing you could do is go over to the Algorand website, look throughout their ecosystem here, and you'll notice, oh boy, these guys are not sitting still. they're not sitting still at all. There's actually quite a lot of stuff you can watch over on the Algorand website. Featured use cases here, you can check it out as well. They're doing quite a lot for themselves. It is literally just that number that people often like to look at, the on-chain metrics in a TVL sense. That's just not inflated as much just quite yet, but I honestly believe piece by piece it is going to start building up here. And right now, I think it's one of the most integral points for it all, as we're seeing that in price and whatnot. One of the questions that people might ask is, why is it better than Ethereum? Well, easily said. It's just a lot faster, a lot more efficient, and has proof of staking already, which Ethereum does not have. In last week, Algorand, which is known as the Ethereum killer, rose 20% and has piqued investors' interest. What set Algorand's apart are its advanced capabilities, which again, you might move further into if you want to. But whatever these articles usually talk about is mostly the speed of Algorand, partially what is possible to do on there, which again comes back to speed and just, I guess, being the team. Right, because as I said before earlier, almost every single article that I watch talks about how good their team is and what type of members they have, and the fact that they're having a proof of stake, which is rather nice. And together with that proof of stake, they talked about how they are not inflating their coins too much. And that's kind of like a recurring little thing, all right? I've been trying my best. Here was price spikes on new initiative, plans to share 2 million Algo tokens. I didn't really hear too much about this except for just now over on their Twitter, which might be one of the main reasons why the price is pumping like right now. So one of the things which they shared was, with the recent launch of Algo Fee or Algo Fi org, users can now lend and borrow against their Algo, USDC, GoBTC, and more. Learn more about the platform. And a new initiative that will distribute 2 million Algo to AlgoFi users in the Q1 of 2022. I'm putting up one little thing, guys. If you are a person who likes to give free money, this is something you might want to take a look at. I'm going to retweet it now as well. Because if you participate in this, you might eventually get, for example, a couple hundred, sometimes a couple $1,000 from this pool for free, as usually what they do is they distribute this to early adopters of sorts. So make sure you at least check this out. I'm not too sure exactly on how everything works just quite yet, but I'm going to look it up for myself, and I'll share it hopefully in a new video later as well, if I do find out more info, or at least on Patreon, as this is something that I really think is going to be nice. And again, DeFi incentives, I think, are the major cause for like the short term, but you guys get my drift. The short term, the 15% up on the daily, it doesn't really matter too much, as I was already going to plan making my video. And it's mostly about the longer term here. Bitcoin on the 1 day, by the way, having a nice little bullish engulfing candle. We like to see that. I just wanted to quickly talk about that. XP also had a nice little bounce from its support. Algorand, in that sense, though, right here, we actually face some resistance at the 0.382 Fibonacci from our most recent swing high to potentially swing low. I did not expect Algorand to fall as low as it did, to be honest with you. It went down to about $1.25 or so last week, which was a pretty big dip. I didn't expect to see Algorand go that low. And again, it does make me think about the future potential of this crypto, and I really wouldn't be surprised if it actually keeps building out of there, really starting to get a big grip on. And I think the first quarter of 2021 is already going to put themselves on the map a little bit more significantly. And I don't think, and hear me out really properly here, guys, I don't think it's going to be too weird for Algorand to step up closer and closer to this 12th spot, meaning they're basically going to triple or so in market cap throughout the next couple of months, taking over or coming closer to the Avalanche. Not Terra level just quite yet, as they're really advanced right now, but closer and closer to Avalanche, not overtaking them, but of course, as time moves on, Avalanche is also going to keep increasing in terms of spot. And so I'm going to say like the number 12, 13 or so would not be too crazy for Algorand medium term. Not sure where it's going to end up, but I think with the current incentives, the current plan, and the current way in which things are, that's basically where they're headed. Slowly but surely towards the upside, increasing in value time and time again, as there's really no negative sides for Algorand either. Try to look it up. I don't really find any. Where with Cardano and a couple of these other ones, you might definitely be able to put up a couple of negative sides. Like Ethereum is really slow, for example. The only thing you might say for Algorand is, again, low TVL in the sense of provable DeFi llama or provable on DeFi llama. But is that really everything that counts? Yeah, I don't necessarily think so. All right, I think we covered every single thing that I need to cover for right now. I have so much more stuff to talk about, but it's also pretty difficult for me when I don't write scripts to remember every single point that needs to be in here. If you have a good reason for why Algorand is so huge, like for example, one of the partnerships that I did not just talk about, make sure you put it in the comment section down below, as I really honestly believe this is a crazy crypto, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're at $10 or so by the end of the year 2022. Wouldn't be too crazy if you ask me. $10 is a pretty low number still, as we hit $2.50 a couple years ago. Now that we start to build, quadrupling in price, I don't think it's going to be too crazy, specifically if XP wins the lawsuit and altcoins are going to go on a crazy berserk altcoin season.